Yo, J-Dub Cyber Day 56, Fitness Friday. Hey man, are you training for longevity? I hope so. When I first really started getting into the gym many years ago, I always remember some of the older guys that were there, and I was just thoroughly impressed. And I'm talking much older. There was always a group of like 70, 80-year-olds. I think there was one guy even in his 90s that would get together and they'd always kind of be there. And I'm talking, these guys were still doing pull ups. They were still benching on the bench, like in the 135 range, which is amazing. These guys were there every day. And I remember one of the guys, had a fitness shirt on that said, I don't miss workouts and like, no pain, no gain, that type of stuff. And like really started making me think what I was training for. And a lot of the short term things when you first are, well, maybe it's just about being younger. You want to get your biggest PR, you want to bulk. I took that way too far and just plain old got fat, y'all. Um, and just there was other things that were important to me. And as I got a little older, past my 40s and now just 50, longevity became more important. One, because it gets kind of forced on you, you guys. And two, it is the smarter play. And what I mean by that is when you push your body really hard, any of the lifters out there will know this, especially if you get heavy biceps, you really start to get like some tendonitis, right, in your elbows. And it really makes you struggle to even get back in and do biceps. It hurts really bad. And most of this is caused by going heavy, you guys, too many times. So, I mean, let's take that example. When I first reduced my bicep load because I just couldn't plain do it, my left elbow got really bad tendonitis. An interesting thing happened. The pain was much more bearable, and slowly, probably after a month or so, maybe a few months, it did eventually go away. And the second thing, my biceps started to grow, you guys. I really started to get the most out of the lower weight, really high intensity reps. And by high intensity reps, I mean just kind of milking everything I could get out of one set with that lighter weight instead of kind of lugging up the heavy stuff. I still like lugging up the heavy stuff like the next person, but when we're thinking longevity, you kind of got to take a step back and go, what am I doing this for? Most of us that have been lifting for a long time have stopped doing the flat bench press, not because we don't like it. I still love it. Because you start to get shoulder problems. It really starts to bother things. The heavier you get in that, the more kind of uncomfortable your joints, and that all takes a lot of damage over the years. So now I prefer like incline dumbbells with my hands tilted in a little bit, just a lot easier for me, in particular on my shoulders. You can also think about some angle stuff. So from the bench here to here, even on the flat bench, can make a big difference in how your different joints feel and how your pecs deal with that as well. And so you learn to adjust. You learn to move to machines. You learn to move to different things, and you're getting the same workout, in my opinion. You'll start to feel like in those other things, like, well, gosh, I really get a good pump in my bicep with just the cable curls, and I can get a really good pump in my pecs when I do cable pushes, which is wild to me. I always thought, no, no, I got to get on the heavy weight. It's got to be free weight. It's got to be heavy. That's the only way to do it, right? Kind of the lunk mentality. Guilty. I am. But man, just something about taking those cables and squeezing them in. You can just get a really crazy burn and all the same stuff. And slowly, as I trained the last couple of years, I have to thank Ben for this. As we programmed that stuff in, I really started to learn to love that stuff because I knew the feeling wasn't going to be pain. I wasn't going to leave. And what I mean by that is you want muscle soreness. I am not talking about muscle soreness here. What you don't really want is your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, all of that kind of connective. It just really starts to ache and it really will lower your performance in the gym dramatically. And I am still making gains back up in weight, doing it slow and low. Um, but I'm less likely to injure myself. It is not a guarantee. I could definitely, most likely injure myself still. But it's just an interesting topic to me. Um, I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago. People ask me like how much you bench, and I'm like, I really have no idea. And the largest bench I've ever got up was 315. I don't think I get anywhere close to that right now, you guys. And it doesn't really matter to me. I want to go in and I want to put the muscle to failure. I want to do the best I can under whatever load condition I'm doing. And I want to recover from that successfully so that I can do that again on the next lift. That is a skill. It's an art, I think, to learn how to push yourself to failure with the right exercises for you that allow you to recover with ample time in between that you can really go again, um, probably quicker than you think. So, this also changed a dramatic part for me in how often I lifted. So, kind of when you bro lift, and we'll give an explanation. There's multiple variations of this, but we'll give a very popular one is where you hit one muscle group once every 7 to 8 days, right? It's just once a week and you just destroy it. You go in for chest, you do, oh gosh, I've done 20, 25, 30 sets for chest and just obliterate it, right? You are so sore that it's going to take you 3, 4 days to even like recover the muscle and then maybe even a couple extra, but you couldn't possibly do it more. And the same for the other exercises in that week, right? You know, be not uncommon for me to do 20 exercises for pretty much every muscle group. And then you need lots of time to recover your joints, it all takes just a beating. Hey, and for those out there that are like in their 20s, do it. I love it. I wish I could keep that up, but I can't. Those are just the facts. But interestingly enough, now I can hit chest multiple times during the week and get it all the way to failure with a normal amount of sets. So let's think about what I just said. I still may hit 15 to 20 sets of chest in a single week, just not all in one day. I might hit 10 exercises, let's say 10 sets, excuse me, of chest on like a Tuesday. And a few days later, I will recover from that because it's not a crazy load. And then I may hit like 7 or 8, right? Get in that 17, 18 set range for the week. So a lot of times I'm doing the same volume I was before. Just kind of breaking it up during the week so I can recover more and I can do it again. And I really like this. You'll also discover as you get a little bit more advanced that you can hit your smaller muscles, at least I can. N of one study here. I can hit my biceps 3, 4, probably 4 times a week, pretty decently. They recover really quickly. And I feel like within, a couple days, I can go back again. I can hit it again. And that's really fun for me to be able to do arms. Yay, our favorite thing, a couple times a week. I mean, you couldn't do this for squats or deadlifts. We don't recommend deadlifting more than once a week. If not, if we're heavy deadlifting, I might push it to once every 2 weeks, to be honest. Maybe mix in like a hack squat on your second week and kind of go back and forth on those. But you're going to figure out what you can do, the muscles that you can fatigue, and how quickly you can recover as well. And that's that longevity part. Because again, I don't have a short term goal anymore. My goal is to be those 80-year-olds in the gym still coming in every day. Hopefully, I'm wearing some cool bodybuilding t shirt in my 80s and still getting it done. And that is going to take a little bit more wisdom in what I do in the gym, how hard I push it, and how much I recover. Now, I don't want to get it misconstrued when I say how hard I push it. What I really mean by that is I still keep the same intensity. If I go in and I see the workout and I know, hey, I got 6 sets of biceps, they're going to be, even at low weight, very intense. I'm going to get everything I can out of those 6 sets. The volume is low enough that I could probably recover in a few days and then I can go do it again. So I don't talk about it's not taking it easy. It's just not loading it up with a ridiculous amount of weight and stressing more than just your muscles, but your joints and your ligaments and tendons and all that fun stuff that we really want to be careful of. Not just when you're older, but even younger, I would recommend that too. Interestingly enough, you noticed if you talk to some of even the competitive people on like deadlift, they're not PRing every week. I think some people have it in their brains that these guys go in and they're just like lifting the heaviest PR, a couple times a week, every week. They don't. Most of those guys, there's probably some, I don't know if Larry Wheels does. There's some genetic freaks out there that maybe they do. But the vast majority of them cannot handle that stress on their body more than once every 6 to 8 weeks, like a total PR. And then they come back and they go in and they get a reasonable weight and they strengthen the muscle and they heal up and then they try again at some distant point. So I think this is important to remember if you are out there struggling because pushing it for I'm not even sure what the goal is anymore to push it past what you think your limits are. Now, you're doing like a competition, like the road competition. Hey, all for it, love it, train for it. Afterwards, you're going to need some recovery and you possibly could injure yourself, but that's your goal. I don't have one of those goals. My goals is to get my body in the shape that I want it to be without injury because I hate being out of the gym. This is 1 week today for me out of the gym, and it's absolutely maddening. So that's it for my Fitness Friday. I really appreciate you guys just being a part of this and all the words of support I get mean the world to me, y'all. And so we'll just keep it up. I have one more week of this doing nothing, which, hey, successful. Successful. Got all my steps in, went every night this week and walked, 3 to 4 miles. Did not lift anything. Didn't even lift the groceries at Costco, y'all. Have my son do that just to try to be smart to say, hey, I'm really not supposed to lift things for a few weeks. Um, and that's what it is. One more week. I'm looking forward to getting back in and I'll have you guys there with me. We'll go look at what like a rehab lift looks like as well. Because we're going to have to start out slow and kind of work through a 6 week kind of rehab lift as well. But that's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next one.